Bride spoke ill of mother-in-law in Italian, thinking only her friend understood, but the groom understood everything. Jennifer Taylor took a deep breath as she looked at her reflection in the beauty salon mirror. In just a few hours, she would be Mrs. Miller, fulfilling the dream she had nurtured for 3 years. But at that moment, with her nerves on edge, she felt a weight in her chest that she couldn't explain. "Rachel, I can't keep pretending everything's fine," she confided to her best friend who was adjusting the flowers on the bouquet. "That woman is driving me crazy. She thinks she knows everything about my life." Her Italian friend looked up, understanding every word in her native language perfectly. "Jennifer, today is your wedding. Don't let Mrs. Patricia ruin this moment," replied Rachel in Portuguese, but with the heavy accent she could never disguise. "Easy for you to say. You don't have to live with her every day," Jennifer continued in Italian, the words pouring out like a dam breaking. "Yesterday she told me my dress is too low cut. Too low cut. This is my wedding, not hers." Jennifer didn't notice that the salon door had opened silently. Michael Miller entered with a bouquet of white roses in his hands, a surprise he had planned for weeks. He wanted to see his bride before the ceremony, break tradition for just a few minutes to tell her how much he loved her. But the words he heard left him frozen. "And then, Rachel, I have to tell you the truth," Jennifer continued as the makeup artist applied the final lipstick. "His mother is so possessive. She always criticizes what I cook, says Michael needs more attention. I feel like I'm never good enough for her son." Michael felt his world collapse. For 2 years he had been secretly studying Italian, taking night classes at the language school in Little Italy. He wanted to surprise Jennifer on their wedding day, show his respect for her cultural heritage. Every word she spoke felt like a stab to his heart. "Jennifer, calm down," Rachel tried to soothe her friend. "It's just nervousness. Mrs. Patricia cares about you in her own way." "In her own way?" Jennifer almost shouted. "That way is making me feel inadequate every day? Michael doesn't see anything because he's her son, but I've been suffering in silence for months." The roses slipped from Michael's hands, making a dull sound on the floor. He quickly bent down to pick them up, his heart beating irregularly. Without being noticed, he left the salon and walked to his hotel suite, where he was getting ready with his groomsmen. "Michael, man, you look pale," commented Brandon, his best friend since childhood. "Groom's nerves?" "Yeah, must be that," murmured Michael, sitting heavily in the armchair. But it wasn't nerves. It was the pain of discovering that the woman he loved had hidden so many feelings. Was their entire relationship a farce? Did Jennifer really love him, or was she just putting up with his family? Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. An hour later, Michael stood before the altar of St. Patrick's Cathedral in downtown New York City. The location had been chosen by Jennifer, who had always dreamed of getting married in the same church where her Italian grandparents celebrated their wedding in 1952. The centuries-old walls had witnessed so many love stories, but at that moment, Michael wondered if his would be just another illusion. The music began to play, and Jennifer appeared at the church entrance, radiant in her Italian lace dress. She walked slowly down the aisle, smiling at the guests, but when her eyes met Michael's, she noticed something different. There was a sadness there that she couldn't understand. "Must be emotion," she thought to herself, adjusting the bouquet of white roses that Michael had left at the salon without explanation. Mrs. Patricia was in the front row, dressed in an elegant navy blue suit. At 58, she maintained the upright posture and attentive gaze of someone who had raised 5 children alone after being widowed young. Michael was the youngest, the son she protected the most, perhaps even too much. She watched Jennifer approach and whispered to the husband beside her, "Richard, look how beautiful she is. I still don't know if she's the right choice for our Michael." Richard Miller, Michael's older brother who had taken on the paternal role after the loss of their father, held his sister-in-law's hand. "Patricia, give the girl a chance. Michael loves her. Love isn't always enough," she murmured, without taking her eyes off her daughter-in-law. When Jennifer reached the altar, Michael greeted her with a forced smile. She extended her hand, and he held it, but she felt a coldness that hadn't been there before. Throughout the ceremony, she tried to figure out what was happening, but the priest was already beginning the vows. "Michael Miller, do you take Jennifer Taylor to be your wife, to love and respect her in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, until death do you part?" There was a pause that seemed to last an eternity. Michael looked deeply into Jennifer's eyes, remembering the words he had heard hours earlier. Finally, with a choked voice, he answered, "I do." Jennifer felt a shiver. Something was wrong, but she didn't know what. When it was her turn to answer, she looked directly at Michael and said firmly, "I do." But deep in her heart, a restlessness was growing. The wedding reception was taking place at the Skyline Terrace, a place Jennifer had chosen to honor her roots. The panoramic view of New York City created a magical setting, but the tension between the couple was palpable to those who knew them well. Brandon approached Michael during the cocktail hour. "Dude, you're acting strange. Did something happen?" "I'm fine," Michael lied, taking a sip of whiskey. "Just tired." Across the room, Rachel watched Jennifer greeting guests with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Jennifer, you need to talk to Michael," she whispered when she approached her. "He's been acting strange since he arrived at the cathedral." "I noticed," Jennifer replied softly. "But I can't do anything right now. Let's pretend everything is okay and we'll talk later." The couple's first dance was tense. Michael held her gently, but Jennifer felt the emotional distance. She tried to start a conversation. "The hall looks beautiful, don't you think?" "It does," he replied dryly. "Michael, what's going on? You've barely looked at me since the ceremony." "We'll talk later," he said, avoiding her gaze. Jennifer felt tears forming, but she controlled herself. She couldn't cry at her own wedding, in front of all the guests. When the music ended, Michael quickly moved away to greet other relatives. Mrs. Miller approached Jennifer with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Dear, you look beautiful. The dress was perfect." "Thank you, Mrs. Miller," Jennifer replied, remembering the criticisms she had made in Italian hours before. "You know, Jennifer, I wanted to talk to you about some things regarding the house. Now that you're married, I think it's important to establish some rules." Jennifer felt her stomach churn. The reception wasn't even over, and her mother-in-law was already starting with her demands. "What kind of rules?" she asked, trying to keep her voice calm. "Well, Michael has his habits. He likes his coffee very strong in the morning, his pasta al dente at lunch, and on Sundays, the family always gathers at my house for lunch. I hope you understand the importance of this." Jennifer took a deep breath. She was beginning to understand why Michael always defended his mother. He simply didn't see how controlling she was. "Of course, Mrs. Miller. We'll do our best to keep the traditions." "Good to hear that, dear." Patricia smiled and walked away. Rachel observed the conversation from afar and approached Jennifer as soon as Mrs. Patricia left. What did she want now? "The usual," Jennifer sighed, "giving orders about how I should take care of her son." "Jennifer, you need to stand your ground. Michael needs to choose between you and his mother." "It's more complicated than that, Rachel. He lost his father very young." "Mrs. Patricia is all he has from his father's side of the family." At that moment, Michael approached the two, interrupting the conversation. "Rachel, may I speak with my wife alone?" "Of course," Rachel replied, casting a worried look at Jennifer before walking away. Michael held Jennifer's arm and led her to a more private balcony on the terrace. The nighttime view of New York City stretched out before them, but neither was paying attention to the landscape. "Jennifer, I need to ask you something," he began, his voice tense. "Michael, first tell me what's going on. You've been acting strange since we arrived at the cathedral. Do you love me?" The question came out direct, without any preamble. Jennifer looked at him, surprised. "How can you ask that on our wedding day?" "Of course I love you." "And my family? Do you like my family?" Jennifer hesitated. It was a dangerous question, especially after everything she had vented to Rachel. "Michael, where are you going with this?" "Answer the question," he insisted. "Your family is complicated," she said carefully, "but that has nothing to do with my love for you." "Complicated how?" Jennifer felt she was being tested but didn't know why. Michael, your mother is very protective. Sometimes I feel like she doesn't fully accept me. Have you ever talked to me about this? I tried a few times, but you always defend her. Say it's her way of showing affection. Michael looked at the horizon. The words Jennifer had said in Italian echoed in his mind. She always criticizes what I cook. I feel like I'm never good enough for her son. And you talk about this with other people? He asked. Jennifer felt a chill down her spine. There was something in the way he asked that put her on alert. What do you mean? Do you vent to Rachel about my mother? Michael, every woman talks to her best friend about relationship problems. That's normal. In Italian. The question dropped like a bomb. Jennifer felt her legs tremble. What do you mean? You talked to Rachel about my mother today at the beauty salon, in Italian. Jennifer turned pale. The words wouldn't come out. Michael, I understand Italian, Jennifer, he said simply. Jennifer's world collapsed. She remembered every word she had said, every bitter venting, every criticism she made thinking she was safe. How long have you understood? 2 years. I've been studying in secret since we started dating. I wanted to surprise you today, show that I respected your culture, your heritage. Tears finally streamed down Jennifer's face. Michael, let me explain. Explain what? That you think my mother is possessive? That you feel inadequate? That you've been suffering in silence for months? Each word was a stab. Jennifer realized he had understood everything, absolutely everything. I was nervous, stressed about the wedding. I said things I shouldn't have said. Things you feel but never had the courage to tell me. Michael, please. Jennifer. Rachel's voice interrupted the argument. Sorry, but the photographer is asking to take some pictures before the light fades. The couple looked at each other, both with red eyes. Michael took a deep breath and extended his arm to Jennifer. Let's go. We can't let the guests notice. Jennifer held his arm but felt as if she were walking to her own funeral. During the photos, they smiled stiffly, but anyone paying attention could sense the tension. Mrs. Miller approached during the family photo session. Michael, are you all right? You look tired. I'm fine, Mom, he replied, avoiding looking at Jennifer. And you, Jennifer? Are you feeling well? You look a bit pale. Just a little tired, Mrs. Patricia, Jennifer lied. Of course, wedding days are very hectic. Once you two settle down, everything gets easier. I'll help Jennifer adapt to the family's habits. Michael looked directly at Jennifer upon hearing these words. She lowered her eyes, remembering her complaints about her mother-in-law's interference. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. During dinner, Michael and Jennifer barely spoke. She tried to start conversations, but he responded with monosyllables. The guests began to notice the strange atmosphere. Brandon, Rachel approached the best man. What happened to Michael? He's acting very strangely. I don't know, Brandon replied, worried. He's been different since this morning. I even thought it might be nervousness, but this is more than that. And Jennifer is almost crying. Something happened between them. I'll try to talk to him later, Brandon promised. At the main table, Richard was observing his younger brother's behavior. Michael, he called softly. Is everything all right? Everything's fine, Michael replied, cutting his meat with more force than necessary. It doesn't seem like it. You've barely spoken to Jennifer since you arrived. I'm just tired. Richard didn't insist, but exchanged a worried look with his wife. Across the table, Jennifer was playing with the food on her plate. She couldn't eat anything. Her stomach was in knots. She felt the curious gazes of the guests and tried to maintain her composure. Jennifer, Mrs. Patricia addressed her. You've barely touched your food. Didn't you like it? It's delicious, Mrs. Patricia. It's just that I'm still very nervous. I understand, dear. Marriage is a very special moment, but also very intense. When I married Michael's father, I could barely eat too. Jennifer forced a smile, but inside she was consumed with guilt. All the criticisms she had made about Patricia seemed petty now, in the face of her kindness. Mrs. Patricia, Jennifer said impulsively, thank you for everything you did to organize the wedding. I know you worked very hard. Patricia seemed surprised by the comment. Oh dear, you're family now. It was my duty to help. Michael watched the exchange between the two women, his heart torn between hurt and confusion. His mother was indeed being kind, but Jennifer's words in Italian came back to his mind. She always criticizes what I cook. The time for speeches arrived, and Brandon stood up with the microphone. Well, everyone, as best man, I have the pleasure of speaking about my best friend, Michael. I've known him since we were 8 years old, and I can say I've never seen him as in love as he is with Jennifer. Jennifer felt a stab upon hearing these words. Michael was in love, but would he still be after today? Michael has always been a guy dedicated to his family, Brandon continued, and now he's found someone who has become part of that family. Jennifer, welcome to the Millers. The guests applauded, but Jennifer forced a smile. She looked at Michael, who kept his gaze fixed on his plate. When it was Michael's turn to speak, he stood up slowly. The hall fell silent. Well, he began, his voice hesitant. I'm not very good with words, as you all know. Some low laughter emerged among the guests. But today is a special day. A day when two families come together. The Taylor family and the Miller family. Jennifer paid attention to every word, looking for signs that he still loved her. My mother always taught me that family is sacred, that we must protect, respect, and love unconditionally. And today, we begin a new family. He looked directly at Jennifer as he said this. Jennifer, you brought joy into my life. You brought color. You brought laughter. You also brought challenges, because every family has challenges. Jennifer swallowed hard. But what matters is how we face those challenges, whether we face them together with honesty or if we keep everything to ourselves. The message was clear. Jennifer felt the tears forming again. So my wish today is that we can always talk, always be honest with each other, and that our family be built on truth. Michael raised his glass, but his gaze was cold. To Jennifer, my wife, may our life be filled with honesty. The guests toasted, but many noticed the strangeness of the speech. Jennifer drank the champagne as if it were bitter medicine. After the speech, she got up and went to the bathroom. Rachel followed her. Jennifer, what's going on? Michael's speech was strange. Rachel, I made a huge mistake. Jennifer broke down in tears. What did you do? Michael understands Italian. He heard everything I said in the hall. Rachel turned pale. Oh my God, everything. Everything. About Mrs. Patricia, about feeling inadequate, about him not seeing the problems. What a disaster, and now I don't know. He barely speaks to me. I think I destroyed my marriage on my wedding day. Rachel hugged her friend. Jennifer, you need to talk to him. Explain that you were nervous, that you spoke without thinking. You didn't see his look, Rachel. He's hurt. Very hurt. Then fight for him. You love each other. Does he still love me, after hearing all those horrible things? The two were interrupted by a knock on the door. Jennifer? It was Mrs. Patricia's voice. Are you all right, dear? Jennifer quickly dried her tears. Yes, Mrs. Patricia, I'll be right out. Take your time, dear. I just wanted to say I noticed you seemed a bit down. If you need anything, you can count on me. The kindness in Patricia's voice made Jennifer feel even worse. She opened the door and found her mother-in-law with a maternal smile. Mrs. Patricia, thank you for your concern. Jennifer, may I speak with you for a moment? Alone? Rachel understood the message and stepped away. Dear, Patricia began, holding Jennifer's hands, I know it's not easy to join a new family. Every family has its ways, its traditions. Jennifer nodded, unable to speak. I lost my husband when Michael was only 15. Since then, I've been both father and mother to him. Perhaps I'm too protective. Mrs. Patricia, you don't have to... Let me finish, Patricia gently interrupted. I know I might sometimes seem meddlesome. I know I give a lot of opinions, but it's because I worry. Michael is my baby, even though he's a grown man. Jennifer felt her heart tighten. But now he has you, and I need to learn to share him. I need to learn that you are an independent family." Tears streamed down Jennifer's face. "Mrs. Patricia, You don't need to say anything, dear. I just want you to know that even if sometimes I'm difficult, I truly want you to be happy. And if at any point I cross the line, you can tell me." "Agreed." Jennifer hugged her mother-in-law, feeling like the worst person in the world. "Thank you, Mrs. Patricia. You are very kind. Now let's go back to the party. Your husband must be looking for you." But when they returned to the hall, Michael was on the balcony alone looking at the city. The party continued, but the mood remained tense. During the waltz with her father-in-law, Richard, Jennifer tried to focus on the dance steps. "Jennifer," Richard said softly. "Michael seems worried. Did something happen?" "We had a little argument, Uncle Richard. Couple stuff." "Ah, that's normal. Patricia and I argued a lot early in our marriage. She thought I spoiled the children too much. I thought she was too strict. And how did you resolve it?" "By talking, always talking. Marriage is a dance, Jennifer. Sometimes we step on each other's toes, but the important thing is to keep dancing together." Richard's words echoed in Jennifer's mind. She looked at Michael, who was talking to some cousins but avoiding her gaze. When the music ended, Jennifer headed to the balcony where Michael had been earlier. She needed fresh air and a moment to think. She found Rachel there, smoking nervously. "Rachel, you haven't smoked in 2 years. Jennifer, I'm nervous for you. What's going to happen now?" "I don't know. Maybe Michael will never forgive me." "Of course he will forgive you. He loves you." "Love isn't always enough, Rachel. Trust is more important than love, and I broke his trust. You made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. This mistake may have cost me my marriage." The two were interrupted by Brandon, who approached. "Jennifer, can I talk to you?" Rachel discreetly stepped away. "Brandon, if this is about Michael..." "It is. He's devastated, Jennifer. I don't know what happened between you two, but he's suffering." "I'm suffering too." "Then work it out. You love each other too much to let pride get in the way." "It's not pride, Brandon. It's more complicated." "Jennifer, Michael has been my best friend for 20 years. I know him like no one else. He loves you more than anything in life. If you two fought, it's because there was a misunderstanding. And what if it wasn't a misunderstanding? What if it was something that can't be undone?" Brandon looked at her seriously. "There's nothing that can't be undone when true love is involved." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. The party was coming to an end when Michael finally approached Jennifer. She was saying goodbye to some guests, but he touched her arm gently. "Can we talk?" "In the room." Jennifer nodded, her heart pounding. They went up together to the bridal suite in total silence. The room was decorated with rose petals and chilled champagne, a romantic surprise that now seemed ironic. Michael closed the door and leaned against it. Jennifer stood near the window, still in her wedding dress. "Jennifer, I need to understand one thing," he began. "Did you say those things because you were nervous or because that's really how you feel?" Jennifer took a deep breath. It was the moment of truth. "Michael, It's complicated." "It's not complicated. It's simple. Do you think my mother is possessive or not?" "I do," she answered, deciding to be honest. "Sometimes I think so." "And do you feel inadequate in our family?" "Sometimes, yes." "And do you think I don't see the problems?" Jennifer hesitated. "Sometimes you defend your mother when I try to talk about certain things." Michael absorbed each answer. "Why were you never completely honest with me?" "Because I'm afraid," Jennifer admitted, tears welling up again. "Afraid that you'll choose your family over me. And you prefer to lie?" "I didn't lie, I just omitted some feelings. In Italian, thinking I would never find out." "Michael, I didn't want you to know, because I didn't want you to have to choose between me and your mother. I know how important she is to you. Jennifer, you are my wife, of course you're important. But she's your mother, the mother who raised you alone after losing your father. Michael sat on the edge of the bed. You're right about one thing. My mother is protective, very protective, and I know that. Jennifer looked at him, surprised. You know? Of course I know. But she lost her husband very young. She's afraid of losing her children too. It's her way of showing love. But that doesn't mean I have to accept everything without question. No, it doesn't. And if you had talked to me, we could have found a solution together. Like what? Setting boundaries, talking to her, being a team. Jennifer moved closer to him. Michael, I want to be a team. But you need to understand that sometimes I'll have difficulties with your family, just like you might have difficulties with mine. It's okay to have difficulties, Jennifer. The problem is hiding those difficulties from me. You're right, I should have been more honest, and I should have paid more attention to your signals. Jennifer sat beside him on the bed. Michael, do you still love me, after everything you heard? He took a while to respond, which made her heart race. I love you, Jennifer, but I'm hurt. I know, and I'm sorry. Really sorry. The words you said hurt me, especially because you said them in Italian, thinking you were safe. I was nervous, stressed. I said things I wouldn't think straight about in other circumstances. But you felt those things at some point. I did, she admitted. But that doesn't mean I don't want to be part of your family. It means I need time to adapt. Michael looked her in the eyes. Jennifer, marriage is about companionship, about facing problems together. If you hide things from me, how can I help you? You're right. I promise that from now on, I'll be more open about my feelings. And I promise to pay more attention when you try to tell me about any problem. Jennifer held his hand. Michael, can we start over? Can we try again? Jennifer, we just got married. We're not going to give up at the first obstacle. So you forgive me. I'll forgive you, but it will take time for me to forget completely. I understand, and I'll do everything to regain your trust. Michael pulled Jennifer closer. You know something funny? I started studying Italian to impress you. I wanted to speak with your Grandma Elizabeth in her language. Jennifer smiled for the first time in hours. My grandma will be thrilled when she finds out. And now I find out you use Italian to complain about my family, he said, but there was a touch of humor in his voice. Michael, I promise that from now on, I'll only use Italian for good things. Like what? Like saying I love you. Ti amo, Michael. Ti amo tanto. Anch'io ti amo, Jennifer, he responded in Italian, surprising her. You speak well. I studied a lot. I wanted to surprise you on our honeymoon. You can still surprise me. We have a whole life ahead of us. Michael hugged Jennifer, but she still felt there was a barrier between them. The hurt wouldn't disappear overnight. Michael, what are we going to do about your mother? We'll talk with her. Together. We'll set boundaries respectfully. And if she doesn't take it well, she will. My mother wants my happiness above all. How can you be sure? Because I know her, and because today, during the party, she told me something interesting. What? That she noticed you were sad and that she wanted to help. She said sometimes it's hard for a daughter-in-law to enter a new family. Jennifer was surprised. She said that. She did, and asked me to take good care of you. She said you seem like a nice girl, but that you must be feeling intimidated. Your mother is more perceptive than I imagined. She is, and I think you two will get along when you get to know each other better. I hope so. Michael kissed Jennifer's forehead. Jennifer, from now on, no secrets between us. Agreed? Agreed. And no talking badly about my family in Italian? He said, smiling. I promise. But can you teach me affectionate words in Italian to talk about your family? I can. And you can teach me to speak with your Grandma Elizabeth. She'll be smitten with you, just like I was smitten with you. Jennifer kissed him gently. Michael, I'm really sorry about today, for ruining our wedding. You didn't ruin anything. We had our first conflict as a married couple, but we solved it by talking as it should be. That's true, we talked and reached an understanding. And we learned something important. Honesty is fundamental. I learned that I can trust you, even when I'm afraid. And I learned that I need to pay more attention to your feelings. Jennifer nestled into Michael's arms. You know something? Despite everything, it was still the happiest day of my life. Why? Because I married the man I love, and I discovered that he loves me enough to forgive me when I make mistakes. Jennifer, we all make mistakes. What's important is how we handle them. And did we handle it well? I think so. We talked. We were honest. We reached an agreement. And now? Now we're going to enjoy our honeymoon. And when we come back, we'll talk to my mother together. I'm nervous about that conversation. You don't need to be. We'll do it together, like a team. A team, Jennifer repeated, liking the idea. Exactly. You and me against the world. And the family. The family is part of our world, but our marriage comes first. Jennifer smiled, feeling more relieved. Michael, can I ask you something? Of course. When you heard me speaking Italian, what was your first thought? Michael hesitated. That maybe you didn't really love me. That maybe you were with me just out of obligation. And now? Now I know that you love me, but that you're afraid. And that's understandable. Thank you for understanding. Jennifer, my mother can be difficult, I admit that, but she has a good heart. I know. Today she was very kind to me in the bathroom. What did she say? That she knows she's too protective, and that she wants to learn to share you with me, that she wants us to be happy. Michael smiled. See, she really cares. I think I misjudged her at times. And she probably misjudged you too. You both just need to get to know each other better. You're right. Jennifer stood up and began to take off her wedding dress. Michael, can you help me with the zipper? He approached and helped her, kissing her neck gently. Jennifer, I really love you, even after today. Maybe even more. Why more? Because you were honest with me. Because you didn't run away from problems. Because you want to make our family work. Our family, Jennifer repeated. I like how that sounds. Me too. They embraced, and for the first time since morning, Jennifer felt that everything would be all right. Michael, I promise I'll be the best wife I can be, and I'll make a sincere effort to get along with your mother. And I promise to be the best husband I can be, and to pay attention to your feelings about my family. I think we'll be fine. I'm sure we will. Jennifer lay on the bed, still in her white wedding lingerie. Michael lay down beside her. You know something funny, she said. What? Your mother chose this lingerie for me. She said every bride needs something special for the first night. Michael laughed. My mother chose it? She did, and she was very careful with the details. See, she really cares about you. I guess so. Maybe I misinterpreted some of her actions. Probably. She has a unique way of showing affection. I'll try to understand that way better, and I'll help translate when necessary. Jennifer laughed. What do you mean, translate? When she says, Jennifer, don't you think it would be better to do it this way? I'll translate it to Jennifer. Here's a loving suggestion. And when she says Michael needs more attention, you translate it to, I worry about my son, and I want him to be happy. I think I'm going to like these translations. Michael pulled her closer. Jennifer, thank you for today. Why? I almost ruined everything. You didn't ruin it. You gave me the chance to show that our love is stronger than any problem. It's true. Our love passed its first test. And it will pass all the others to come. Are you sure? I am. Because now I know we can talk about anything. There are no more secrets between us. Jennifer kissed Michael deeply. I love you, my husband. I love you too, my wife. Now teach me how to say, dear mother-in-law in Italian, she joked. Suocera cara, he answered, laughing. Suocera cara, Jennifer repeated. I'll practice. And I'll teach you how to make the al dente pasta my mother likes. And I'll teach you how to talk with my grandma about the old days in Italy. Deal. They spent the rest of the night talking, planning the future, and healing the wounds of the day. The wedding that had begun with secrets and hurt ended with honesty and hope. The next morning, during breakfast at the hotel, Jennifer received a message from Mrs. Patricia. "Dear Jennifer, I hope you slept well. I wanted to thank you for yesterday being so special. I know I can be a bit intense sometimes. If we can talk when you return from your honeymoon, I would really like that. I have some things to apologize for and others to thank you for. Have a good trip and be very happy. With affection, Patricia." Jennifer showed the message to Michael. "See, she wants to talk. She wants to get closer to you. It seems so. I'm looking forward to this conversation now. Everything will be fine. Michael, can I tell you a secret?" "Now you can. You can tell all the secrets," he laughed. "I'm starting to like the idea of having a big, complicated Italian-American family." "Really, and why?" "Because that's what family is. Love, problems, arguments, reconciliations. It's real. And we're going to be part of that reality. Together. Always together." Jennifer looked out the hotel window, watching New York City wake up. The city that witnessed their wedding had also witnessed their first crisis as a couple, and they had come out stronger. "Michael, thank you." "Why now?" "For loving me, even when I make mistakes. For forgiving me. For teaching me that marriage is about honesty. Thank you for teaching me that I can trust our love, even when we face problems." They finished their coffee and got ready to leave for their honeymoon. But before leaving the hotel, Michael made a call. "Mom, it's us. We're fine, thank you." "Mom, when we get back, we want to talk with you. The three of us together. No, it's nothing serious. We just want to align some things about our new life." "Okay. See you next week. We love you too." Jennifer smiled as she heard the conversation. How did she react? She got nervous at first, but when I explained that we just want to talk about how our married life will be, she was relieved. "And do you believe it will work out?" "I do, because now we have something we didn't have before." "What?" "Total honesty between us, and that changes everything." Jennifer took Michael's hand. "Then let's start our real married life. Let's. And bring on all the challenges. We're ready." "Ready," Jennifer repeated, smiling. They left the hotel holding hands, heading to the airport and their honeymoon. The wedding that almost ended before it began now had a solid foundation. Love, honesty, and the certainty that together they could face anything. The city of New York City went about its routine as the couple departed, but in both their hearts was the certainty that they had learned the most important lesson of marriage. There are no perfect relationships, only people willing to work together to build something true. And that's how Jennifer and Michael discovered that the real marriage didn't begin in the church, nor at the reception, but in that hotel room where they decided to be completely honest with each other, where they chose to fight for love instead of giving up on it. The story of the couple who almost separated on their wedding day because of a conversation in Italian would turn years later into a family legend told with laughter and affection. Because what almost destroyed them was exactly what made them stronger, the decision to never hide anything from each other again. End of the story. So, dear listener, what did you think of this story about Jennifer and Michael? Do you think Jennifer did the right thing by hiding her feelings about her mother-in-law? Or should she have been honest from the start? And Mrs. Patricia, do you think she really changed, or will she still cause trouble for the couple? Tell us in the comments what your favorite part of the story was, and if you've ever been through a similar situation with your partner's family. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other emotional stories like this one.